What's up, everybody? I've neglected this YouTube channel for far too long at this point. I feel really bad about it. Life kind of got in the way, all that stuff, whatever excuses I can come up with. But either way, I still feel very bad about it. And I think that all changes today. I'm going to try to be a lot more consistent with uploads. It's not going to be like crazy, like, every couple days I upload something, but I'm going to try to at least maybe every week or two get something pumped out. Uh, I'm going to primarily focus on the MA3 side of things, I think, but I'm probably still going to upload some MA2 stuff just because I know a lot of people are still using MA2, and I have a lot of like little tricks and stuff that I've been very hesitant to share just because I mean, part of it is like, it's my little tricks. Sure, maybe I like found the inspiration off somebody else or whatever, but like, it's things that I implemented into my shows that I just, like want to keep for myself or whatever. Not trying to like gatekeep. I mean, I have a YouTube channel where I share a bunch of my secrets that I either learn from others or learn on my own. So, I'm just trying to not gatekeep in general, but there are some things that I do like to just kind of keep in the vault. So I'm gonna probably just release a bunch of that stuff for MA2 at some point, but I do want to primarily move to the MA3 side of things because, geez, Louise, this program is nuts. I mean, it's awesome. Uh, with that being said, let's just get right into this one. This is basically a video on how I manage how I manage my uh colors, specifically gradient colors in GrandMA3. Uh I know almost none of you have probably seen my shows knowingly, but a big part of my shows are my gradients, which, it's just gradients. But how I manage them in GrandMA3 is a lot different than how I was managing them in MA2. In GrandMA2, I essentially gave myself 10 banks of gradient colors that were tied to either specific songs for band I'm touring with or something like that, or just like things I liked. In MA3, instead of that, I just have two color gradient left to right, two color gradient symmetrical, three color gradient left to right, and three color gradient symmetrical. Now, uh, we have this big color picker over here, but when we hit the gradients, you see nothing is on. And that might be a little confusing. Why that is because I actually have a color picker separate that's tied just to color effects, but now I utilize it for my gradients as well. And I have three colors because I have two color chase flash, three color chase flash, and snap, and like a rainbow effect that's kind of separate. But I have these two color and three color effects, and you can see like we pull that up here. We have those three colors selected, and go here. We see I could probably slow that down. Yeah. So we have, that three color effect going right now. I'm gonna only keep things that have color mixing on. And yeah, you see we're just filtering between red, green, blue. So we're not gonna worry too much about my color effect generator because I don't really feel like that has a lot to do with this video. More so we have these gradient colors. Those are tied in from those colors. Right now we have two color gradient left to right, and we got a three color gradient left to right, and we have green, blue, red, which are those three colors that we chose in our color effects over here. So basically all these are macros that are copying one preset to another, and it's just copying our base presets, these colors, down to effects 1, 2, and 3. And it's pretty basic in terms of just like, if you're coming from an MA2 world, like a lot of show files are utilizing the same concept. My show files always utilize the exact same concepts. This was a really easy transition towards 3 with that in mind. But what's different is now we are able to select our colors that we're referencing within these presets here. These presets are our gradient presets. We select that guy, and that gives us our 2 left to right, or we can go back and do our symmetrical 2 color, and we see that. But how do these work? Uh, you might remember from earlier videos, if you're like me and you watch a lot of the earlier tutorials on GrandMA3, how we have up here, we have this magic tab for magic presets. Now, I thought that was going to be a really awesome implementation, and I don't think it's a bad implementation. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great implementation to this program in the right scenario. Now, the issue with magic presets is you don't have a ton of versatility with it, and it's also, to an extent, unless you're using recipes within your presets, which I'm not going to get too into that. It's kind of a rabbit hole, but unless you are doing that, it's really not super user friendly in comparison to a lot of other ways you could manage these things. It also doesn't give you the ability to make one magic preset per one fixture type and use it along other fixture types. It really only works with the fixture type that you are building that magic preset off. You see how that could be a huge pain in the ass when you go to a venue, you have your spots that you're hanging in the air along with some venue spots. And let's say they have Mac Vipers and you have Airtone Perseos. I mean, it's just not going to work out that well. It's going to be a huge pain. You're going to have to rebuild the same preset a bunch of times. And that's, I mean, we got rid of cloning. I mean, not got rid of cloning. I still use cloning in my MA3 file, but we essentially alleviated cloning for a reason. So why not do the same thing with our gradient presets? Now, I'll stop blabbering here and I'll just get right into how we're making this. The first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to store an empty preset, and I'll show you why. Uh, it's a little, uh, I'll kind of show you why. I'll tell you why while I show you. So what we do here is I grab one fixture that's fairly universal. I believe this is a Mac Viper XIP, if I'm not mistaken, in my clone file. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this guy and grab two values that I want to make a gradient out of. Let's just say effects1 and effects2. Let's basically what we're doing is effects1 is going to be our first step in our phaser. 2 is going to be our second step. And that's all this is a phaser that's stopped. So let's grab both or all of our steps, go to phaser overall, speed, and let's go to our color attributes that are utilized here and set them to 0 on speed. That's essentially just stopping the effect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab a matrix and let's just do an X phase from 0 to 180. This is where we actually get the gradient effect. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to store. And why having this preset there is important is because it gives us the ability, empty preset by the way, the ability to grab universal as our preset mode and merge it. Now we see there's a U here. That means that we're not making a selective preset. This is a universal preset. And that's very important to making these gradients and also having them be versatile when you go to a new venue and you have a whole new house rig to patch in. You don't want it to be a pain. You want it to be as simple as possible. And that's what this is doing. We can grab all our fixtures on our rig and we click this guy and we actually see that we have a pretty clean looking gradient right here from left to right. We pull it up on our 3D view and look at that. We have blue to red. Perfect looking gradient. Uh, Now, you can even take this a step further and let's grab that fixture again and let's grab that preset again. Let's say we want this to be symmetrical. Well, let's just grab all our steps and all we gotta do is grab X-wings, turn it into 2, store, universal again, and merge. And now we grab all of our fixtures and boom, like, look at that. It's perfect. That's awesome, right? I mean, you can do this with any set of fixtures too. Like let's say we want to just be, let's say we want everything to white but like that. And we want just our spots to be that gradient. Well, we can grab that. We see only 16 fixtures pop up there. And we see we have a symmetrical gradient just with our spots. Everything else is white. It's awesome, right? So what we're going to do now to take this even a step further, because I'll show you why we're going to take this a step further. We grab our beams, which are, these are not color mixing fixtures. A lot of beams aren't. Almost all beams aren't, actually, even nowadays. Uh, what we're going to do here is we're actually going to store over this again. And what we're doing now is I have a blank Sharpie that has all these colors cloned to it, but this one is another version of this universal fixture type just for color wheels. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go up here, do the exact same thing that we were doing with our uh, color mixing fixtures, grab all of our steps, phaser overall, set this to 0 on our, oops, we'll hit oops really quick because we're on phase. We'll do speed at 0, go to a matrix, 0 to 180. And what we're going to do now, this is what makes this really useful, is we're going to go to our phaser steps and we're going to diminish this transition as well as the width. And I'll show you why I'm doing this. So now we have all those, and we'll go down to universal merge, and boom. Now what we're going to do is grab our beams, hit that guy, and let's turn them on. We can already see we have red and blue here, and we go to our 3D view and we have red on the inside, blue on the outside. Obviously it doesn't show up perfectly on the visualizer just because of how things are stored, but that essentially just means you just have to update your presets. So like let's say, we want our beams red. Well, we want them to actually be red, so we can go to like our channel sets and look at that. You know what? That's not exactly what we want. So let's just go here. That looks like red. So let's just throw that in our programmer, store, merge, and what we're gonna do since we're still in the programmer is just reselect these colors. And now we can grab our beams, that guy. Now we have red on the inside, blue on the outside. Let's say we want all of our fixtures to have that. Well, we just go here, do the same thing, and we still have that gradient for our spots, wash, all our color mixing fixtures, and our inside ones are not a gradient there because gradient isn't necessarily possible in a sense. I mean, you can build your own gradient if you want, but I find it a lot easier and a lot more tasteful just to keep the outside half the one color, the inside half the other. And we can even look at it with our 3-color presets. Well, we have like these guys are blue, these guys are green, these guys are back towards blue again, or violet, or whatever. It's just kind of wherever in the phase it looks the most like. And I mean, it just looks a lot more clean than trying to take a color wheel and make a gradient out of it. So that's essentially how I'm managing my gradient colors. I mean, you can even see like our left to right ones. We have a pretty cohesive like left to right with our green to blue to red, and it's even. Like, I mean, we pull out our other fixtures and it's green, blue, red, just in phase. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense to you guys. I know this is probably a more punt file friendly tip than maybe like, building out like a Cubase or time code kind of file, but I can see how it'd still be useful with those types of files, really depending on your programming style. But for me, I do a lot of punting or a lot of like half punting, half, like cube by cube stuff. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that makes sense. And if you got any comments or concerns or anything to add to this, just let me know. I would love to hear some insight on this, this workflow. Thank you guys for watching. And again, I'm going to try to be more consistent with uploads. So we will see you on the next one. Peace.